Hello, I am Alisha Malik. I have came to the screen of Shiro Vision with some new pieces of news for you. UN chief says Afghanistan spinning out of control calls on Taliban to immediately halt offensive. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called on Taliban to immediately halt the offensive and said that seizing power through military force is a losing proposition and can only lead to prolonged civil war and the complete isolation of the war-torn nation. Afghanistan is spinning out of control. Even for a country that has tragically known generations of conflict, Afghanistan is in throes of yet another chaotic and desperate chapter. An incredible tragedy for its long-suffering people, the UN chief said on Friday. The Taliban has captured Herat and Kandahar, the country's second and third largest cities. As the Taliban insurgents increasingly gain around ground in Afghanistan, some accounts state that 60% of the country's territory is under their control. There was growing concern that Kabul too could fall into the hands of the Taliban soon. The message from the international community to those on the war path must be clear. Seizing power through military forces is a losing proposition. The UN chief added that he was deeply disturbed by early indications that the Taliban are imposing severe restrictions on human rights in the areas under their control, particularly targeting women and journalists. It is particularly horrifying and heartbreaking to see reports of the hard-won rights of Afghan girls and women being ripped away from them. The fighting between the Taliban and the Afghan security forces in urban environments is causing tremendous harm, he said, adding that at least 241,000 people have been forced to flee from their homes and humanitarian needs are grown by the hour. They all must do more to protect civilians. I remind all parties of their legal and moral obligations to take all measures to protect civilians, Guterres said. Haryana is India's Olympian state. Trigger warning. Apologies will be in order as this piece is all about regionalism, region pride, sectionalism, and caste. I would have been tried to push the linguistic pride bit, but one should only go that far when you come from Haryana and your language is Haryanvi, or to be literal Jatu. The piece is on how India's sports story has not nearly but always been told by its state, Haryana, a state that forms just 2.09% of India's population but has won 8 medals in individual sports at the Olympics till date. It is important to underline that India so far has won only 24 medals at the Olympics in individual sports and Haryana has contributed 8 to that 50. I grew up in my army household where conversations around caste and religion were not just avoided but fairly looked down upon. Utopian, yes, but my siblings and I for a very long time did not know what our caste was, leave alone our friends. For us, we were Hindus, our parents were borderline religious, and we hailed from Haryana. As I went along, I realized self-deprecating humor is an important armor in and chat's arsenal. The jokes around thick-headed jats fall easy when we blame our most idiotic decisions on Jat Buddhi. The memes made over the brushes of my ilk are readily accepted as our Jatpanna. Tales of our identity as peasant sepoys and their collective foolhardy lines are now part of Haryanvi folklore. While most of us will agree that we have earned our stereotype abbreviations like Jat just avoid them still hurt our very fragile egos. There are tales of Jat valor that suggest men coming back from the dead to kill their enemy in action. There is a strong historic and political context to why Haryana excels in sports. Agriculture and military historically have been mainstay among people of the state. Boots, The Pride of India movie review. Sharat Kelkar wins hearts in new Ajay Devgan film. 300 against a battalion. The story of how a airstrip at Bhuj, Gujarat was rebuilt in just about 72 hours in December 1971 after it was bombed down by Pakistani jets is one of those war stories that fills your heart up with pride. Ajay Devgan as Indian Force Squadron leader Vijay Karnik in Disney Plus Hotstar's Bhuj, The Pride of India brings you that story against the backdrop of the Indo-Pak War of 1971, arousing as it is not without exaggerations. Bhuj, The Pride of India opens to the very fight that destroyed the airstrip. Unprepared and helpless soldiers at the Bhuj Air Base rain helter-skelter as Pakistani jets dropped bomb after bomb. The devastation both on land and in their eyes was enough to let your heart sink for a moment. How would Karnik salvage the situation? And if he falls, and if he fails, one of the India's most important airways stands to be captured by the enemy. At this point, there was no othering. Pakistan and India are truly at war. In East Pakistan, today's Bangladesh, and Bhuj is key for both nations as an attack in the West will only attack as a blow to India's focus on the eastern frontiers. Even as Bhuj, the film meticulously narrates their plight, shows them fighting, bleeding, dying, the focus and the camera remains firmly on Ajay. A considerable amount of time in the narrative is wasted in jamming songs singing praises of valor. Final thoughts. Even with Ajay Devgan walking in slow motion looking also in the IAF uniform for us, the film belongs to Sharat Kelkar. And that's a shame. This is the second Disney Plus Hotstar film where, despite being the clear hero, he remains in the shadow of the bigger star. Which was the first film, you asked Lakshmi?
জিরো ভিশন, সবার সাথে সবার পাশে। জিরো ভিশন। জিরো ভিশন আজ কলকাতা তথা গ্রাম বাংলার পশ্চিমবঙ্গের সাধারণ মানুষের পাশে এসে দাঁড়িয়েছে। জিরো ভিশন সবার সাথে সবার পাশে। আপনারাও পারেন জিরো ভিশনের মতন সবার পাশে এসে দাঁড়াতে। আসুন না সাহায্যের হাত বাড়িয়ে দিই। আপনারা যদি সাহায্য করতে চান তলার এই নাম্বারগুলোর সাথে যোগাযোগ করতে পারেন। প্রত্যেকটাই আমাদের জিরো ভিশন সংস্থার নাম্বার। ভালো থাকুন, সুস্থ থাকুন।
That's it for today for me and my team. Thank you for watching. Please stay safe and stay at home. If you like our channel, please do subscribe, like, share and comment. Thank you.